Back to everyday Kentucky. So it's a new year, and guess what? New whiskeys are coming to the Kentucky market.
Excellent. Here to tell us all about these new additions and the perfect cocktail to go along with them, Chris Webb, Sales Director of Mark Anthony Crafted Spirits. Good morning to you, and welcome to our show.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you having me. It's always nice to get back to Kentucky, even if it's just via Zoom. I'm happy to be there.
Well, we're happy to have you, a Lafayette student, alumni, so we love having our Kentucky Proud folks stop by. So what are we making, speaking of Kentucky Proud?
Well, today I was going to talk about a couple of unique products that are new to Kentucky, as you mentioned. They've only been in the state for about 60 days, so you can be the first in your group to know about these new whiskeys. And they both have a natural Kentucky tie-in. And then to add a little extra Kentucky flair, I've incorporated a couple of Kentucky ingredients from Bourbon Barrel Foods up in Louisville. So the first item I have today is called Bareface, and it's a corn-based whiskey that sees 3 different types of oak. It sees used bourbon barrels, so that's American oak. And the 3 types of oak give it completely different flavors. So from the bourbon barrels, they get like caramel vanilla. And then from the, it sees French oak as well. And those French oak barrels used to house red wine, and you get dried fruit flavors. And then finally, it sees Hungarian oak, which gives it a spicy note. And what's really wild is that the second 2 oaks, the French oak and the Hungarian oak, that happens in the wilderness in Canada. And so it really is whiskey from bear country. And today we're going to make a cocktail, a classic cocktail, a maple old fashioned, so a little nod to the north. So what you'll do is put a little ice in your glass, add 2 ounces of Bareface whiskey. And then I'm going to take a bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, add a couple of bar spoons, a couple of dashes of a bourbon barrel aged bitters, and those are all the ingredients. And you give it a nice stir. And lastly, you garnish this one with a little orange peel, and you have a maple old fashioned.
Oh, that sounds so good. We love the bottle too. It looks like it has bear claw marks on it. That's a really cool touch.
Well, thank you. It's meant to harken back to the fact that it comes from the elements. It's aged in the elements, and you can definitely spot it on the shelf with those claws on it.
And maple bourbon, such a good combination.
Well, it sounds delicious. It really does.
And then the second whiskey we have today is a double barrel Irish whiskey from Glendalough. And Glendalough is a real place. It's about 30 miles southwest of Dublin. And the gentleman on our label, if you see him, that is St. Kevin. Now, it wasn't pronounced Kevin in the 6th century because they spoke Gaelic, but it's the name we now know as Kevin. So if you have a friend named Kevin, this is the perfect gift. But St. Kevin lived in Glendalough, and he founded 7 churches in a monastic settlement. And he was a man who did things different than anyone else. And he did it in the 6th century when distillation and whiskey making was just starting to happen in Ireland. So he stood apart, did something different. It's in his honor that we make our whiskeys and our gins and whatnot. So with the double barrel whiskey, what we're going to do today is make an Irish coffee to warm everybody up. So for this one, we're going to take a couple of ounces of the Glendalough double barrel whiskey. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of Demerara sugar, which is just a raw sugar that has a little more molasses in it, and so it's a little richer. Then you're going to add 4 to 6 ounces of hot coffee. You give it a nice stir, just to dissolve that sugar a touch. And then lastly, you're going to take some heavy whipping cream that I whipped earlier this morning, and you're going to gently put it on the spoon and layer it on top.
That looks so good.
So if you do it right, which thank goodness I did on live television, end up with a layered drink that looks just like this. And so be prepared for a little milk mustache, but it is delicious. It'll warm you up, and you're going to love it.
Now, when can folks expect to start seeing these brands on the shelves? Because it's new to Kentucky, you said, so how soon will they be out there?
It's getting out there right now. It's at Liquor Barn locations, so you can find that. They've always been a big supporter of my brands. And so it's at Liquor Barn, and it's starting to get to other stores right now. But literally today, if you like these, you want to try these recipes, you can find them at your local Liquor Barn.
And speaking of big supporters, we want to give a shout out to your mama. You said she's a big fan of the show, so we're so excited to hear that. Hello, Mary. We love you too.
Thank you so much. That's going to make her day. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by. These look and, sound amazing. Can't wait to try them.
You guys are very kind, and I'm so grateful for you letting me join you today.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
All right.